Tell me when y'all are ready. We're good?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. Welcome to the 2018 Southwestern Pirates Football Media Day. We are here with head coach Joe Austin. He's going into his 6th season with the SU Pirates. Coach Joe, will you please come up?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We're really excited about what's happening for the 2018 season. It's our 6th year, so we've been doing this for a while now. We're in our 2nd year in the American Southwest Conference. So our story really begins for us in 2016, the first time we had 4 complete classes. We had a full football team in 2016. We're undefeated Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference champions. From there, we moved to the American Southwest Conference last year, which is widely regarded as the top conference in Division III, and we finished 3rd, and that surprised a lot of people. They didn't know where to slot us in. Some people still don't know where to put us. Dave Campbell picked us 3rd. The media poll didn't pick us quite as high, but I'm not a well-liked guy, I guess. You never know how people vote. To be honest, I can't tell you how I voted, so I don't know if I helped us or hurt us. Coaches don't care about preseason polls. That's how much thought I put into it. But we're a good football team. Last year we had a really dynamic offense. We finished 7th in rushing and 9th in total offense, and there's 250 teams in our division. So to be ranked that high, you're doing pretty well. We have almost all of our starters back. You're going to get to meet a few of them today, but we're headlined by Frederick Hover, who was first-team All-American Southwest Conference quarterback. He led the nation in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. And, of course, he's back as a junior. He's not one-dimensional. He threw for 18 touchdowns and another 1,800 yards. So Fred's kind of where it starts. You're going to meet A.J. Daniels, who is second-team All-Conference tight end. He's got some NFL scouting services. Checking him out, you're going to meet Marquel Henderson, one of our deep group of running backs, who's another really key player for us. T.J. Vela on the offensive line was second-team All-Conference. He's our right tackle. And David Brandenburg, who's a hybrid wing slot running back, kind of does it all for us, is back. So we have a lot of all-conference players. On defense, our returning defensive all-conference player is Ben Brockman, who was all-conference as a freshman. He's our middle linebacker. The ASC player to watch list Josiah Minifield, who's a very good defensive back. And we've got a long run right now of defensive backs. Our defense is in a great transition year for us. We've had back-to-back All-Americans. We graduated Justin Broussard in 2016 as an All-American, and then last year we graduated Nick Kelly. So our defense is having a good problem. Replacing All-Americans is a good problem to have. But what we're going to do this year is we're going to have to adapt to the players that we have. We've been a man-to-man team. We've had Nick Kelly and DJ Johnson, who are 2 bookend man coverage corners who have graduated. So now we're re-evolving, and we're going to re-evolve around guys like Josiah Minifield in our defensive backfield. Hayden Smith is a hybrid strong safety who's a good linebacker, strong safety type player. Garrett Womack is a local guy from Lake Travis. He led our team in sacks last year and quarterback pressures. So while we don't have the big names maybe on defense, I don't know they'll have an All-American this year. It'd be great if we did. We're gonna be pretty good because I think we have better tools. A lot more guys that can tackle. So I think we'll tackle better than we ever have.
Coach, how has preseason gone so far? What are the strengths that you see with the boys, like the new and also the veteran players?
Well, I think now our veteran players are doing a good job of bringing our new players into the fold. For a while, they didn't really know how to do that because they didn't have any role models ahead of them. We've had 2 great senior classes who have kind of been the role models in how to build a football team. So I think our camaraderie is really good. We went through training camp and didn't lose a player. That's almost unheard of for no one to drop from college football camp. And it wasn't because it was easy. It's still hot. It's still long. But that's a credit to our players in making sure that the new players on the team know what's going on. They're incorporated. They're feeling comfortable. So I think the unity that we're building and the comfort level that our old guys are creating for our new guys has been a strength of our training camp. We've done some fun things. There's some unique opportunities that we've had. We're the only team, I think, that trains with the Army every training camp. We go up to Fort Hood, and we trade with the 1st Army Division West on their leader reaction course. And what it is, it's a problem solving. It's not climbing on ropes and swinging and rappelling. It's military-based problem solving. So they give them these problems. Of course, our guys don't know a whole lot about that, a lot of them, but they get to work as a team, and we get to see who develops as leaders, and it's a lot of fun. At the end, they give them MREs, which guys get to try those. So they're burning their fingers on the hot pouches, trying to heat up the ravioli and whatnot. And but a lot of guys got the Skittles pack, so they were the happy ones. So it's just a great experience, and that's been a lot of fun. The Round Rock Express invites us out every year. We did a great night with those guys. to relax. So it's been a good balance between some fun things. We surprised them this year and took them to the Typhoon Texas Water Park, and they really liked that. So I think we've had a good balance of fun stuff, but also getting our work done.
What's been the biggest surprise, Coach, coming off the camp for you?
I think the biggest surprise is, as I mentioned, how close we're growing as a team. Sometimes it takes till the middle of the year, sometimes not till the end of the year that you feel comfortable with the guys in your locker room. I feel comfortable now that our guys are up to speed and that our upperclassmen have done a good job to make sure that we're growing some strong bonds and becoming a really tight unit.
Coach, you talked a lot about in this early preseason, especially talking to Rotary Club and some others about first year last year in the ASC, you finished third, which normally you would say, well, you didn't want to finish third, but you go up against the two top teams in that division. Talk about the expectations now this season, if you don't mind, Coach, and what you're looking forward to most in the second year in the ASC.
Well, you're right. At the end of the year, I told the team you don't always celebrate finishing third. But when you finish third behind the number 1 and the number 9 teams in the final conference poll, you can build around that, and you can really set your objectives up for the next season. What we're worried about is just our expectation, and that is to get better every week. If we can get better every week and make constant improvement, then we're going to start chipping away at the top couple teams in our conference. We definitely were happy with that. So it's a weird thing. As I said, you don't hear coaches say we're happy we finished third, but for the first year in that league, I think it was good. What I will say is I don't think we're going to sneak up on anyone. Dave Campbell's picked up on this. They picked us to finish third. Other publications have also. And we don't like being picked third now. We're ready to keep moving forward. But we're not going to sneak up on anyone, especially with our offensive style of play. They're going to have to prepare for us maybe in the spring. We're a multiple triple option offense. So what we did is we've kept our spread that we ran our first couple of years, and then we've evolved into a really unique hybrid of power triple option that's going to give a lot of people difficult. Yes?
Speaking locally, what can we, like who live here locally, what can we do for you? How can we help?
We have local events that we're hoping we get a lot of people to. Every Thursday starting this week, 2 days from now, at Jack's Lounge at the Sheridan, we have our weekly SU Football Weekly is the name of the show. And SHN Sports with Rob Hipp is hosting it this year. So that's Thursdays at 6 p.m. at Jack's Lounge. All of our broadcasts are also online through SHN Sports, so you can link to both the show and our broadcast through southwesternpirates.com. All of our games are live on SHN Sports, and they're also on demand. And you can link through those through supirates.com. Or you can go through SHN Sports. We're trying to make it really easy. I think Annabelle's going to do a great job with that this year. We're changing our media company. As the program grows, we want to grow with it. And especially being local, Rob is born and raised in Georgetown. We've been able to watch what he does. We're going to have a great product every week with SU Football Weekly, and then with our game broadcast, I think folks are going to be pleasantly surprised with the quality that we're going to have as our program grows.
But you're hoping we all take advantage of the access that you're giving us, all this increased.
Yes, we really want to create more foot traffic for SU Football Weekly. We're trying to build that. Jack's Lounge is going to have some weekly specials for us, I believe, just to kind of entice folks to come out and grab an appetizer, grab a beer, grab a soft drink. And we'll have players on this week. Our captains are going to be on next week. We're going to have coaches do kind of a season preview this week. But it should be a good time. It's going to be a good quality production.
Coach, can you just describe the winning attitude and culture that you've established around here in still a short period of time, 2 years off a conference championship, and now getting going in this new conference?
Well, we're 13-7 the last 2 years, and not a lot of teams at any level have that. Not very many of the Division I teams, none of the Division II teams, or very few of them. Commerce obviously has done very well, and so is Mary Hardin, Baylor, and Hardin Simmons, but we're right behind those guys. We don't have a player in our program that's lost more than he's won. That's how far we've come in the last 2 years. Every player in our football team is 500 or better in their college career. So our guys have learned from going from we hope we can survive and make it through to we expect every week to go out and win. And it doesn't matter who's on the schedule because we've learned that every game is the big game. So we don't have the jitters. And being able to take an even approach to every game and being able to look at every game as the big game, I think has been the big difference for us. Again, when we were young, it was looking for names on the schedule, and maybe we can win this one, and this one's going to be tough. Now it's every week. We expect to win, and we're winning a lot more than we're losing.
And what do you think the identity will be of this 2018 group?
Well, I think the identity of this group is it's going to be all hands on deck. We're going to have a lot of guys touching the ball on offense. We're going to have a lot more players involved on defense than we've ever had. and we're going to use a lot of people on special teams. So in our division, you can travel 56 for a road game. If you're in that 56, you're going to play. And I think we've already done that, but we play and use more people than just about anyone. We develop roles around people's talents, and we get them involved. If you're ready to play college football at a varsity level, we're going to get you in the game. And that builds motivation, it builds retention, and it just builds excitement for players to come and work hard and get better every week.
Talk a little bit about Denison, Coach, going into week 1. What are your expectations, and what do you expect from them too?
Denison's a strong team. They're 15-5 the last 2 years. They've been nationally ranked in the top 25. They've been in the top 10 in the northern region. And that's why we scheduled them. When we started playing Denison, we knew they were a team that would build our national reputation. As we started our first few years, we were playing regionally. And to step out and play a nationally ranked team and a regionally ranked team is great for us. They're also a great academic school, which we like as an institution to play against really good competition. So this is another win that can get us a lot of national recognition because people are going to look at that. There's not a lot of great week 1 matchups. You get just some kind of regional games. Similar to maybe Division I, there's not too many great marquee matchups. So when you've got 2 winning teams that have had multiple winning years in a row playing against each other, there'll be some people looking at this game.
You don't always like to think ahead, Coach. I mean, you got winning season checked off, conference championship checked off, playoffs next, undefeated next. What's the big picture looking like here, Coach?
Well, I think the next thing for us is to get in the national rankings, which is a feat in Division III because there's 250 teams. So you're in the top 10%. You are a grade A football team if you're in the top 25. And I think that's the next intermediary step to being an ASC conference contender and an ASC conference champion. Now, if you win our conference, you're a national championship contender because our conference champion has been in the championship game each of the last 2 years, and they won it 2 years ago. We're such a strong conference that we're almost an automatic for 2 playoff teams. Our champion gets in, and then one of the at-large bids goes to our number 2 team. But to get there, you've got to be in the regional rankings, which means we got to get on a winning streak and get these out-of-region wins and become a nationally ranked program. So I think that's the next step for us.
Coach, you touched base just a few moments ago, and the question I was actually going to ask about, in Division I, you've got big schools that you hear of a lot, and you see those rankings, but you just mentioned it in Division III, you've got a lot more teams, so getting those rankings, it's something to be, nothing on D1, but D3, it's a lot more competition. Can you talk just a little bit more about that and about the number of teams that you see in Division III versus a Division I, and why those rankings are so important?
Well, there's several things go into it. In our playoff bracket, there's 36 out of 250. That's not very many. So the national rankings and the regional rankings are very important. Because there's so many teams, there's a lag for pollsters. So you usually get ranked a year or 2 after you get good, because that's how people have to learn who you are. So you can hang around the top 25 maybe when you slid a little bit, because it takes a while for folks around the country to learn that when they're trying to rank 250 teams. But there's also a lag. That's why we've had 2 straight winning seasons. We finished 3rd in the best conference in the country, but we're not up there yet. Beating Denison, getting on a winning streak to start our season will help bolster our case, and hopefully we can get into those conversations moving forward.
Cool, thank you.
All right, let me introduce a couple of these guys. I'm going to introduce Marquel Henderson first. One thing you may want to talk to Markell about is he's a Kemper scholar, which I'll let him explain, but it's a very prestigious academic fellowship. So he is the consummate student athlete. And remember, Southwestern, we don't make admissions exceptions. Stanford will and Notre Dame will, but Southwestern won't. So these guys get in on their own merits. So Markell will talk a little bit about what being a Kemper scholar is, and then whatever they want to ask you.
Thanks for having me, Coach. So the Kemper Scholar Program, it's a fellowship for undergraduate students that focuses on professional and leadership development. So one summer you're placed in a non-for-profit in Chicago after your sophomore year. So one summer I worked for PBS in Chicago, and you go through a variety of leadership and resume interview training. The following summer you have the opportunity to work for the Kemper Corporation or find your own internship and do those same sorts of training. So this past summer I went back to Chicago and worked for a bank called Northern Trust.
So far in your preseason, what can you say just as a player and also for your other teammates? Are you guys meshing well? What do you think you guys are doing really well? And also go into a little bit of what you see as like a strength going into this game against Denison. Absolutely.
I definitely think we are the closest we've ever been. In the past, we always thought we were close, but this year there's just a different feel, especially in the locker room. one day we had a lightning delay, and people weren't spread out. We were all together, just having a good time and really lifting each other up. So that was great. I think a big thing for us is the competitiveness in practice. We've definitely got fired up this year. The defensive guys get the offense going and vice versa. So that's going to be great. And I think if we can continue that competitive drive in practice, using that to play fast, it'll really help us in the long run this season.
What has practice been like for you guys this off season, and what the competition between you guys, and how much has that helped everybody?
It's been great. We've definitely conditioned a lot this year. Everyone doesn't always like conditioning, but it's helped. And as far as competition goes, it's really been every play deal, trying to make sure that as a team, we're pushing the scout guys are pushing us, and whenever we get up to the line, that we treat it as a game. So we think that's really going to be beneficial on Saturdays because the game will feel just like practice.
How high is the bar set around here? And you heard Coach talk about not many of you had a losing season in a while, and how cool is that winning culture and around here right now?
So the bar is really high for us. We really don't see we don't have any limits on what we feel we can do. Being a part of a winning program, it's tough, but it's a lot of fun because we know that we push each other to be better, whether it's in the weight room, the field, the classroom, etc. So overall, just being a part of this culture, it's just a lot of fun.
You've been around this program, college Division III football, for quite a while now. When y'all first came in, what's the difference now in playing the good teams than there was 3 years ago when y'all first came in? Now, where have you closed the gap?
Yes, sir. I think it comes down to two things. One, physically, we're physically better prepared. Coming from high school, a lot of the times you think you're really strong and physically prepared, but when you get out there and play with grown men who've been in a real strength and conditioning program, it's a completely different story. And then next is technique. In high school, you can get away with sloppy technique. And one of the things we've drilled down on, even from my freshman year to now, is the technique. So the little things like taking the correct steps, where our hand is supposed to be, where we place our head. Things like that are really what take teams to the next level, and those are going to help us win those tough games.
When you get into this situation, when does the realism strike in that it's a different game than when you're in high school?
Probably the first time you get hit. The first time I touched the ball in college, a friend of mine, Mike Patterson, came unblitzed on a dive, and I got smacked. And that's when I knew I was playing real college football. But really just being out there and competing, the game is faster. Like I said, just playing with people who've been through a real strength and conditioning program, you can definitely tell the difference.
Being a smaller running back, I'm guessing you probably weigh about $160 or so. Do you feel like you have more to prove? Have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, like some of the defensive players might not, be ready for you or take you serious?
I used to. It used to be something that I thought about a lot. But in all honesty, I work really hard in the weight room. So I'm confident in my strength abilities. And as I said earlier, one of the things we really worked on is technique. So since I'm a smaller guy, I try to make sure that my technique is good so that when I do go up against bigger guys who may think they're just going to run over me, I can take the necessary steps to do well against them.
You heard Coach say y'all ain't going to sneak up on anybody. Do you like being the hunted now and the team that has the target on its back?
I really don't think it really makes a difference because for us, as long as we play our game, I think we're going to be fine. As Coach said, it's really about treating every game as the big game. So for us, if we can come out and do what we do really well, then I think we'll be fine. For some people, that we know there's a few teams who are gunning for us, but that just makes it more fun to get out there and compete with those guys.
All right, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, very nice meeting you. Take care.
So our second player is A.J. Daniels. He's a second-team all-conference tight end. He's also our number 2 quarterback. People ask me a lot, what's the difference in Division I and Division III football? Generally, it's about 2 inches and 0.2 of a second. Not with this guy. So you're going to probably need to adjust your cameras up. He's got the frame. So he's getting a lot of attention. He's going to be a great player for us. So this is our tight end, A.J. Daniels.
Got away from me.
Thank you, Coach.
Got away from me.
AJ, talk about what it's like playing here in D3, especially in Georgetown, Texas, a close-knit community. But how did you get involved with Southwestern, and what did you enjoy so far being part of this program under Coach Austin?
I've enjoyed being immersed in football, and I've enjoyed being able to focus on my academics just as much as football. And it's great because you can go to HEB and people recognize you and people ask you how the team's going to do this Saturday. So that's one thing. Those are several things I really like about being involved with Southwestern.
As a leader of the team, what do you think is something you try to do or something that you try and instill in your players is like keeping you guys together and one and ready for games?
I try to talk to everybody. I love conversation. I love getting to know people. So when you come in as a freshman, sometimes the seniors don't really know who you are. And I'm not very good with names, but just being able to have a conversation with somebody, see how their day is going, really affects them.
What kind of juice and energy do y'all have heading into the season?
I think we have a lot of juice and energy coming into this season. I think that's something we're going to have to make sure we focus in the right way. We have to make sure we take every game one step at a time and we don't really focus or circle on one big game on the schedule.
And both of you guys are captains?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you to be captain?
It's a huge honor because I've earned the respect of my teammates, but it's also a lot of expectations because I know a lot of eyes are on me and I can't really slack off at any point and guys are really looking to me.
You heard Coach explain what he thinks this team's identity is. What do you think it is, and what do you hope the fans get, and what do you want the fans to see what this team has?
That we're going to do whatever it takes to win the game. So if that means running for 400 yards, we're going to do it. But also, as Coach Austin said, we're not completely one-dimensional. We're going to be able to pass the ball as well, and everybody's going to get involved. So whatever it takes to win the game is what we're going to do.
The winning has really been established around here. How do you guys keep this thing going and, shooting for bigger things this year and moving ahead?
Coach Austin really said it, but focusing on one game at a time. And we've always been about the process and focusing on each game. And if we continue to focus on each game and every game is the big game, then we're not going to let up on anybody.
AJ, week 1 right around the corner. I mean, it's a few days away. For us in media, we're excited. I know Coach is excited. Talk about what goes through your mind on these very first games and what you're looking forward to the most coming up on Saturday here at home.
Looking forward to just play football again. There's no other feeling like it. I'm ready to go out there with my teammates and compete.
I forgot to ask, is there a team motto or a mantra with the squad that you guys are?
Right now we're looking at why, and we want to focus on why we're doing things. So whether it's for the team or even if it's for people like your future family, our team is really big on making a man after football. And so if you do the little things right now with football, it'll really translate to post-football and when you have a family, when you become a man.
Does that why kind of build into the D3 mentality? I mean, you guys are not really here with scholarships. You guys are here because you're here for the sport, you're here for the game. Is that the basis on the why? Can you expand a little bit on that?
Absolutely. We all love to play football, and that's why we're here. And if we didn't love to play football, and you see it a lot of times in camp, people will drop out. And as Coach mentioned, we didn't have anybody drop out of camp, so apparently we all love football. And that really plays a big part into our why.
Do you think no one dropped out? That's great. That's not the same cases for other sports. Do you know why maybe? Like culture or something that kind of keeps you all together?
It's the culture and really a football mentality. Everybody's important in football. And basketball, you can have one star guy like LeBron James and he can dominate, but football, it requires all 11 people. That really translates to life. When you become a father or a husband, you can't really slack off. You have to do your job regardless of what's going on around you.
What do you guys look forward to against Tennessee this week?
Being able to come back after last season, I don't think we played up to our potential last season, and we became a completely different football team at the end of last year compared to where we were at the beginning of last year.
Do you guys still feel after going through training camp, you carried that momentum after the end of the season through training camp and now heading into the week one?
Yes, sir. I don't think we lost I don't think we lost anything at all.
What do you personally feel in your position in your job that you plan to take on to this first game?
Whatever it takes. As Coach Austin mentioned, I'm also the number 2 quarterback, so if the team needs me to step in and do something, play tight end, play quarterback, I'll do it so that way I can help the team.
All right.
Thanks.
Good luck, guys.
If anybody needs B-roll, we're on the field. If anyone wants to talk to our quarterback, for example, he was in class, I can grab him. Any other players we can
I guess
do
you're
what you need to do?
I'm good. We're good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
How many times did you?
Okay, all right, yeah.
little
I say
106.
5.5. Kind of myself,
What difference
yeah.
in some of the other
Thanks
schools?
again. Good
Can I
luck.
get you guys up there?
You know, you can stretch me in the picture.
Oh, yeah, I'll cut to where.